All right, y'all. So I wanted to talk to y'all about how I was led to walk. So I walk every day, usually for about 30 minutes a day. That's usually my exercise in combination with just the regular chores and things that I do around the property. So here's Blue. Hey, Blue. He came to give me a kiss. I'm actually wearing Dog Mom cap today. He really likes that. So anyhow, I started walking around the time I had my first health scare, and this happened around the time I was 27 years old. I started to exhibit like high blood pressure, and it was really uncontrollable. So I was in and out of hospitals. They couldn't figure it out, and I just wanted to kind of figure out things for myself. So I looked online and I saw that walking was something that was really good for people with high blood pressure and many other health conditions as well. So I started off with that, just walking 30 minutes a day, every day. And just doing that alone, I think I lost about 20 to 30 pounds just walking. And I would walk pretty much around my neighborhood with my daughter, things like that. And then it became something that was really part of me that I had to do every day. So I incorporated going to the gym in the evening. So it became something now that I was doing for myself. It wasn't something that I was now just doing with my daughter or with my family. So this journey of walking really led me back to myself. What I would do was in the evenings after everyone had, gotten their dinner and everything in the household was taken care of and my duties were pretty much done and my daughter was laid down to rest for night. I would go to the gym in the evenings, and I would religiously, without fail, go to the gym every evening and work out anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour and 30 minutes, sometimes 2 hours. It just depended on what my body needed. And what was happening was a lot of energy was being released. A lot of emotions were being released. A lot of trauma was being released. And all of this was healing my body. So I began to heal. My body began to come back into wholeness. Like I say, I first lost all that weight. Then a lot of other health issues began to heal themselves. I had horrible problems with my eyes and infections and things like that. And all of that began to just magically heal itself. And at that point, the only thing that I had really done or changed in my life was walking. And I was really led to walk. Walking is something that has always been very relaxing to me, but it's not something that I had the time or just the space to even walk before. So because of that, I didn't really walk a whole lot. I just went to work, came home, and my day was so full that I really didn't feel that I had extra time to work out or do any of those things. So I didn't even try or think about it. It wasn't until I was forced to through a health issue that I had to reevaluate my life. So intuitively, that kind of came on board for me. That's why I said I was led to walk. But walking is something that we're all led to do. So that's why I'm kind of making this video, because it's one of the simplest things that we can do. So, if we have two legs and we're here on this earth, we are all walking, right? So it's something that we can all do. It doesn't take anything for us to go for a walk. We don't have to purchase equipment. We don't have to sign up for a course. We don't have to learn anything. We just simply walk. So I want to encourage you today to go for a walk, and especially out in nature if you can. I began first by walking out in nature, and that was very helpful for me in my walk. That I was led to go for that walk, because in walking in nature, something kind of almost magical begins to happen. And I'll describe it like this. You're going for your walk and you're just kind of walking, and at first you do have a lot going through your mind, possibly you're thinking about things, and suddenly you just begin to hear the sounds of nature, a bird chirping, the crickets, something like that. And all of a sudden it seems like those thoughts begin to kind of diminish, drown down, or they seem to kind of lose their power over you. And before you know it, it's almost as if you've merged with nature. You've merged into your walk, and you're no longer feeling like you have to think about this to-do list or this thing that you have to do next. And it's now literally just become a walk with nature, a seamless walk together. And what you'll begin to notice is that on your walk, it could be a very relaxing walk. You could just feel like you're at peace. But as you go on this walk that you're led to walk on, a lot of times, and I will bet to say that it will happen, that you will experience what I call downloads. Downloads will be when you're just walking and all of a sudden you'll get an insight or a rush of love or a feeling or a visual, depending on what you are used to seeing or doing. But for most part, you will definitely probably feel some sort of insight, and how that occurs for you will be different. Sometimes for me, it's literally an animal or something that appears in the physical, like I'm taking a walk and all of a sudden a yellow butterfly lands on my arm or something. Other times it's literally I'm walking and I'll feel a thought. I'll feel that insight coming through to show me something through my own mind's eye. So it can come through in different ways. But for me, walking has always been a place where this happens. So it's not that you have to work for it. It's not that you have to plan it out. It's literally you just go there. You go on your walk. And along your walk, those things will happen. You can't plan life. And that's what this walk will show you. We don't know what we'll see on this walk. We don't know what will happen. Early on in my life, one of the very enjoyable things that I used to do as a child with my family was going for walks. We used to take a lot of walks. We used to go to nature walks. There used to be nature preserves and things like that where we lived there. And one of the things that we would do is either drive through these nature trails, or other times we get out and walk. My favorite thing was to get out and walk, because I would walk these nature trails and I would look around for treasures. And I would find a little shell, a little snail, or a leaf that looked unusual, or a flower, or something like that. And I would collect those things. So part of my nature is very much a gatherer. I like to gather things. I like to gather small treasures I find. I like to gather, fruits, vegetables, anything I find I like to look for. I like to gather trash, believe it or not. I like to gather trash and create things with it. So for me, a walk is also a treasure hunt. And so depending on your, personality, your unfolding who you are, that may be the same for you as well. So there's a lot of components in walking for me. I look for things, and in looking for things, I find things, right? And when I find things, that expands me into more and more things. The other day I was walking around my yard and I found a piece of wood that my husband had cut, and it was just, he was just chopping wood for our fireplace and stuff like that. Some tree had come down with these storms. And this piece of wood literally looked like the torso of a body. And I thought to myself, wow, that looks like a torso. And the next thing that came to mind would be this would be a perfect display mannequin for my boutique. I have a boutique that I have. And so for that boutique, I could display, the pants or belts and stuff like that. It's kind of a Western boutique. So I went ahead and I put some pants on this torso, and I put the Western belt on it, and it looked amazing. So it was just perfect for that. And the fact that it was wood from my own yard also tied along with my rustic theme and just so many things. So these things all just seem to come together. And I have so many stories like that of so many different things, but we're talking about our walks here in life. And this is just an example of some of the things that can happen when you're along your walk. You could find something that could spark you into the next step that you're meant to go on. So again, I encourage you today to go on a walk, wherever that might be. It might be your favorite park. It might be a new place you want to explore. You might want to go somewhere fresh. I usually just walk here along my property, but at times I do get the urge to want to go walk somewhere else. Or, if you live near a beach or a river, or you want to walk in a different environment. Different environments also spark up different things. So walking has always been something for me that I retreat to. When things get very, very rough, if things become hard in life, and those things happen because life is ever changing and we have to learn to let go and things. And that can be hard for many of us that are not used to transitions or don't like that. It's not something that we automatically like, to have to lose things to move to the next thing, right? We see that with our toddlers. We see that with our children. They don't want to transition. It's such a thing. And we see that with adults as well. And so if you're having trouble transitioning through something, or you're just feeling like you're having trouble with anything, even if it is your body, I talk a lot about the nervous system, and walking is something that can help a lot to regulate our nervous system, things like anxiety, depression, a lot of the mental health things. So get out there and just start walking. Walking alone will get you into that vibration of unconditional love, because nature abides in unconditional love. So as you're walking and all of a sudden you begin to feel those thoughts diminish and you begin to see yourself merging with nature and feeling one with it, that is the feeling of unconditional love. And so along your walk, you might experience those insights and things. And I encourage you to listen to those. I encourage you to be in that moment with those and see how those mesh with your being. And when you're going along those hard times and those things, walking is something that also produces endorphins within your body. These are chemicals that are good for you. They're the feel-good chemicals, and you don't have to take drugs. You don't have to drink alcohol. You don't have to seek some kind of thrill. All you simply have to do is go for a walk out in nature. And if you don't have nature, you can walk on a treadmill, you can walk anywhere, you will still experience those same endorphins and things. But nature has a power that, in combination with walking, can elevate that, like I say, to bring you those downloads, those insights, that clarity, that unconditional mind at that moment, to allow for those to kind of drop in. So as you're walking, you might even feel like it's time to run. So my journey in walking started with walking, and then I began to run. I hadn't run since I was a teenager. I don't know if many of you adults run and things like that. I know many people are very active, but I personally hadn't run that much since I was a younger person. And so through walking, I began to feel as if walking was too easy, and I began to feel like rushes of energy coming through. So I began to run. And so intuitively, now I began to run. And so these things will lead you from one thing to another. And what did running do for me? All of a sudden, I began to gain a lot of muscle, a lot of more clarity. There's new things I wanted to do. My expansion back into a few of the goals and things that I've wanted to do in the past had reemerged just from simply walking and running. So if you're led today to walk or take a walk, or that is usually what you retreat to, and maybe you haven't taken a walk in a long time, I want to encourage you today to get out there in nature and take a wonderful walk out in nature. Hey, and collect yourself something. Find yourself a little treasure. You know, it's just so special to go out there on a walk and come back with like a little shell or a little rock that's just beautiful. So take yourself back a little dandelion, a little flower, and put it in a vase or something when you come back in your house. I want to really encourage you today to abide in nature and really feel that unconditional love, because that's who you truly are. And that is your true nature. So I want you to recognize that. I love you so much, and I hope that today, if you are led to walk, that you'll go and take that walk for yourself. Thank you so much. I love you all.